Everyone, welcome to episode 19 of PixlFeed Radio, and I'm with my friend Scott McConachie here. What's going on, Scott? How you doing, man?
Doing well, Christian. How are you doing?
Doing all right. So Scott and I, we've known each other for a while now. We're in a mastermind together. He owns with his twin brother, an agency called Reinspire Digital, which we've done work together in the past, and they have expanded into other bigger and better things. They're offering white level services. So I decided to bring Scott on so we can talk about the agency side of things when it comes to lead gen. And since you guys have done everything from mortgages to roofing to construction, and now you're offering white label to partners out there, it's blowing up like crazy. So I want to talk to you about that. So if anybody's looking for fulfillment and those side of things, Scott's your guy. And but before we get started, we got to get down to the story how you got started in this whole world, man. So tell me the story. Like, when did you realize like entrepreneurship was with you, and what decided to go this route basically into the digital world?
Awesome, man. Yeah. So basically, I've been somewhat entrepreneurial my whole life. Always had some sort of side hustle, whether it was mowing yards or, selling things with fundraisers. It's just always had that kind of salesman hustle mentality. And after we went through college, was going down the corporate route, but still in sales, doing commercial insurance sales. But it just wasn't very fulfilling. I always felt like there was something else out there for me. And just the idea of being stuck at a desk, working for a company for the next 20, 30 years, it just wasn't exciting to me. I knew that there was something bigger and better out there, and I really wanted to go out on my own. So I was always listening to different entrepreneurial podcasts and learning from different people. And I think it was Tropical MBA that I was listening to while I was working this corporate job. And it was all about location independence and having freedom and just basically deciding what you were going to do with your time and your schedule. And that was always appealing to me. And I'm sure most people that get in the entrepreneurial game, they have similar desires for what they're looking for. And then I actually heard John Logar, who I know you're in his mastermind program as well. He was interviewed on that podcast, and he was talking about how building a digital marketing agency is one of the best business models to get into, because you don't really have a lot of startup costs that go into it. You can basically start from nothing. And as long as you have hustle and determination, you can really figure it out. So that's really where I got my foot into the agency world and decided to leave the corporate world once we started to land some clients and see traction in the agency. A lot of that was from help from people like John Logar and Nick Robbins.
I remember you were had Nick on this podcast at one point. I remember that you were still working that insurance job when I met you. And
Yep.
Then, before you jumped full force into the agency, which, I want people to really listen to that. There's this mixed message out there. It's like, oh, I just quit your job and go do it. Like, no, man, don't do that. It's like, that is the worst thing you can do. If you have a job that's making you money, then start doing your thing on the side. And when the thing on the side makes you more than your actual salary, that's when you should jump the shark and not the shark. The ship. That's what I was looking for. Jump the ship and then go full force. Wouldn't you agree with me on that? Because it's a lot of pressure,
I think at least you need to know, like, my bills are going to be paid. Like, you may be making less, because I know some people, they get those golden handcuffs, where they might have a job where they're making $100,000 a year, but they're not happy. Okay, right. Maybe you're going to have to step back and make $50,000 a year in your business, but be 10 times happier. To me, that's acceptable, but you have to know your specific situation. If you're going to go hungry because you jumped in your agency and you don't have any clients and you've got rent coming up and you've got no money in the bank, no, you shouldn't leave your job. You should stick in your job until you at least have a base of clients under you and some sort of income stream coming in to where you could support yourself. Because if you just leave and you don't have any income, that adds so much pressure on top of all the other pressures that come from running your business. I don't think that's a great way to jump into it, because you're going to be so desperate to make sales that you're potentially going to be bringing on the wrong clients. You're going to be making poor decisions. So I definitely agree with you. You have to have at least a base under you that you can feel confident jumping into your business, instead of it being this massive pressure to succeed.
So yeah, that's fantastic advice. So how did the whole plan come together with your brother? Like, walk me through how do you guys just sat down and said, let's do this? Like, what was the action steps that you guys took to get started and then take it from there?
Yeah. So That's a good question. So I'll take it back to when I actually jumped into the agency, the story there. So basically, I listened to this podcast with John Logar, and my mind was just blown by this podcast. Just hearing, I mean, you know how John is. He's such an amazing.
I love John. I got to have him on here, actually.
He's such an amazing storyteller and salesperson. And like, just listening to that podcast, I was like, okay, like I need to talk to this guy. And like, he's obviously been doing this for a long time and super successful. So I booked a call with him and we talked. And, you know, at first he was like, oh, maybe you should really think this over. This is a big commitment. It's a lot of money to join my program and you don't have a lot of experience. But I was really serious and I really wanted to jump in, and I kind of twisted his arm a little bit. And I was like, John, I really think this is a good fit. So he let me jump in the program, and I spent the first probably 6 to 7 months just trying to figure out what was going on. I was just not really sure how an agency worked, not really sure how to land clients. So just kind of drinking through a fire hose, trying to learn from this titan of an expert in the industry of John Logar, but eventually started to get my feet under me a little bit. And we landed actually a client or two. And then my brother was just really not happy. We're still working at the insurance agency at this time. And he was just having some conflicts with management and just really not feeling like this was going to be a long-term fit for him. So he ended up jumping ship before I did, actually, which is funny because I started the agency and then he jumped out of the insurance agency first to go run our business full time.
That's hilarious. I didn't know that.
So it's kind of a weird little thing there, but basically he started running it full time, and all of a sudden he started hitting the ground running and started making sale after sale after sale. And I was like, okay, we're good. He's not needing to go back to work. He's killing it in the agency. And I continued to work at the insurance agency for a while, and honestly, probably beyond where I needed to, because I just was like, I wasn't comfortable jumping out yet. You know what I mean? Like I had that decision. Like still, it's a big decision. And I was like, it's working, but what if we lose a few clients? Then we'd really be in a tough spot. So I just wanted to make sure it was secure. But once I was at the point where I was like, we're good, even if I jump out and we lose half our clients, we're still going to be able to pay the bills and make this work. That's the point when I decided to jump out and run it full time with him. So
you jumped, you jump ship. Kevin's already making sales for you guys. So how are you getting those leads? How are you going after those clients? Where are you finding these people, and how did you develop the sales process behind it?
Yeah, so we're finding people through a variety of different channels. Right now, it's primarily through paid client acquisition. I think once you reach a certain point in your agency where you have the capital to continue to invest in yourself like that, it makes sense. But in the beginning, it was 100% through cold outreach, whether it was cold calling, cold emailing, cold texting, Facebook messaging. I mean, we were just hustling to make it happen. And I think that's the way to start in the beginning, at least until you know you can sell, because you don't want to go dump $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 into ads, not make any sales. Now you're in a worse position than you were before. So we started with just cold outreach, just really hitting the pavement. And really, I think the skill set came from commercial insurance, that we had a B2B sales process kind of dialed in from our previous job. So we took a lot of that and applied it to the agency. And as I mentioned, I've learned so much from people like John Logar and Nick Robbins and all these other agency coaches like Alex Schlinsky, and just taken their courses and really adapted their sales process into our own agency.
Yeah, but you already had a sales background, and I think that's where most people drop the ball. They don't have a sales process in place. I think I've talked about it in here in one of my videos. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're not, go look it up in one of my videos, where you have to have a sales process. You have to have a script. You have to have a script. I tell people all the time. I mean, we Scott and I, we have a similar script because we've been through it. We talked about it, and you got to know it inside out. You got to get rid of those objections, before they even come up. So how do you craft your sales pitch for people that are like, starting out? So if you're giving the advice of like, how I'm going to close clients because, you're doing the white label stuff right now. What's the advice that you give like the newbies that come into your group for the white label stuff?
Yeah, that makes sense. So we provide a lot of like scripts in our white label group. So if anyone wants to join, send me a message on Facebook. I can get you a link to the group. And we provide, qualifying scripts as well as pitch decks. I think as a newbie, it's a lot easier to run a pitch deck than it is to have a full sales script memorized to where you can just one call close on the phone. That takes a lot of confidence and a lot of practice and skills. And once you get to that point, it's amazing because you don't have to rely on the pitch deck or, fancy marketing. But when you're new, you really want to have that guidance, and that pitch deck provides you a path to follow through your sales call. So if you have a nice like PowerPoint presentation or a pitch deck to follow to really show them what you're actually going to deliver for them. And also, like you said, Christian, address some of the objections that they might have. That can be really helpful for somebody who's new in the business. So I think that's important. And then I'd recommend just studying sales, whether it's spin selling, stuff from Grant Cardone or Jordan Belfort, really whoever is the, vibes with you the most. I would go and just devour as much information about sales as you can. There's also great videos online, like Mike Arce lays out his entire agency sales process on YouTube. You can literally just go watch that video and recreate it for your own agency. It really comes down to being resourceful and then not having too much pride and being willing to reach out to people who've done it well and asking them for advice and what they would do. Because there's a lot of people out there that they're willing to give you their sales process. They're willing to share resources with you. You just have to be willing to ask them for that help.
Yeah, if you're one of my friends, I get the questions like, "Hey man, I got this campaign going." It's
Yeah,
like, if
exactly.
you're part of the fam, I'll respond. But it's
For
like it
sure.
gets to a point where I'm like, I can't answer everybody, man.
You gotta be reasonable about it. And like I said, we have a white label group, so we just provide a lot of the resources in there. So that way people don't have to blow us up with questions. They can just go in the group and get the resources they need.
Yeah, I still remember when we first met. And now that you're dealing with Facebook ads and you've been learning yourself, it just reminds me of the first time we met in New York at a Loger, one of our mastermind meetings. And you guys were asking questions. A bunch of you guys were asking questions about Facebook ads. And I'm just talking like the simple stuff that I know. I mean, you guys' minds are blown. I'm like, really? You guys don't know this? And you guys are closing all this business? So, as long as you have a good provider that knows what they're doing, like myself or someone else, you don't have to worry about, taking care of your clients. And it's 100%. Okay for you to sell the services as long as you have somebody you trust and that do your research, man. Do your research, whoever, because there's so many people out there that don't know what they're doing. So
100%.
That's why, I wanted to bring you on, because you have the white label side of things now. And I know you work with only people that know what they're doing. But if you're not, talking to me or talking to Scott or whatever, like, do your research, be very careful about who you work with. It's not so much about the case studies, because anybody can fake a screenshot. And that's why I make a point to, on my videos, to like show you stats live of campaigns that I'm running, because you can't fake that. Right.
Yeah.
So talk more about, you will know if somebody knows what they're doing with ads, whether it's Google, Facebook, or whatever, if you ask them about the process that they follow to launch a campaign. I can tell you right away. The way they describe it will let you know if they know what they're talking about or not. But, so the agency is going on. You guys are kicking ass. So what made you guys do the pivot into the white label side of things? Because I know at one point, you guys still are with roofers. You're crushing it with roofers. So what made you pivot into the white label side of things? What was like the light bulb moment on that?
Yeah, I mean, basically, we had built our entire business on white label partners. And even for some projects, I still use white label partners. And I'm not, ashamed to say that. There's some people that are better at certain campaign types and objectives than I am. So it doesn't make sense to try and do everything yourself. So we do some stuff in-house and we outsource some stuff. But the white label side came about because I had experience with so many different white label partners while building our agency. Now we're doing a lot more stuff in-house, but in the beginning, it makes more sense to outsource so you can just focus on sales and client management. But I had good and I had really bad experiences. And for me, the bad experiences were so painful, and losing clients because of simple mistakes from your white label partners was so painful to me that I was like, there's got to be a better way to do this. And I did find some good white label partners, but they're not necessarily taking on new clients and they might be at capacity. And I was like, we can do a lot of this stuff in-house and provide a great service to these people that are coming up in their agency. They don't really know who to use. I know the results that we get from client campaigns are better than probably 75% of the people out there. So I know that we're going to provide a great service, and I know we're really going to care about our clients as well. And I'm going to treat them as if it's my own client. So if I have a white label partner, they have an end client, I may never speak to that end client, but I'm going to treat that campaign exactly like I would if it was my own client, because I know how much it impacts that white label partner if they get good or bad results from their white label provider.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference. And guys, believe it or not, at one point when I was scaling my own stuff, I couldn't handle all the accounts, so I decided to get a couple of white label partners to fill in for, to help me out. And that's the thing that drove me nuts. I mean, they knew what they were doing to a point, but one, they didn't know more than I did, which I'm okay with that for the type of campaigns that I was handing over. And I was more than happy to be like, I wasn't micromanaging because I'm not that type of person. I'm like, if you know your stuff, I'm going to leave you alone.
Yep.
But if I don't see the results that I know that are possible, that's when I'm going to say something, right?
100%.
And what bothered me the most is that it was the hit or miss. They didn't have a process in place, and they didn't care about the clients. It's like, oh, well, we don't have to talk to them, so who cares? You can tell them that. I'm like, no, man, that's not cool. It's like, so that's why it's very important that, whoever you choose to do your white labeling, that they care about your clients and they have a process that they follow, because it makes a huge difference. So you decided to pivot. You started to start offering the white label stuff. So how did that part of things come together? How did the whole thing get started, and how big is the group now?
Yeah, I'm not sure the exact number of members in the group because it's probably a couple hundred. We just recently started it, but basically the way it originally started was we were just posting screenshots on our Facebook pages of campaign results for current clients. And of course, I'm friends with a million marketers. So everyone's seeing these screenshot of campaign results. So friends of mine and other marketers just started reaching out organically, like, hey, man, let's talk. I want you to run my mortgage campaigns. Or I want you to run my XYZ campaign. So basically, it was all natural, just organic traffic at first. And then we decided to build out that Facebook group. And that's gaining a lot of traction and popularity because we're posting a lot of assets and resources people can use to help them sell. And then we also got hooked in with some other agency groups. So this isn't necessarily public who we're working with, but we are working with some of the bigger influencers that do agency coaching, and they're feeding a lot of their students to us that need help with their campaign. So I know, you're in the group with us as well. Of course, try and keep it private who we're working with, because some of these coaches, they don't necessarily want it to be public who's doing their back end fulfillment. But that's another thing that's worked out really well for us is we're working with some big agency coaches, and they're funneling students to us that need help with campaigns.
That's pretty awesome. And then the cool thing is that not only do you guys offer the white label fulfilling side of things, but you're actually helping them with the sales process, prospecting, like giving them the tools. So let's talk a little bit about that. That's the other thing that I think it's really cool. Obviously, the more clients that they get, the more clients that you get.
Yep.
But for some reason, a lot of people miss this step when they're trying to offer these services. So how did you structure that side of things, and how are you working on that those side of things to make it better for everybody and easier for everyone?
So we looked into our Facebook group that we were running, and we put some polls in there just asking questions like, what kind of resources or content would you be looking for in this group? And then we put different options like, would you want to learn more about Facebook ads, campaign structure? But by a long shot, the most popular option that people selected when they were asked what content they would want to see was, I want to learn how to prospect. I want to learn how to sell. So for us, it was just a no-brainer that we should be providing content specific to that, because we have a lot of experience in that area, more than a lot of other agencies that provide white label. Most white label providers, they're more on the tech side, more on the fulfillment side. They're not necessarily as skilled on the sales and prospecting side, but we kind of have a mix of all of those different things. So that's why we've really focused heavily on that. And if anyone's building a white label agency and not providing sales consulting and prospecting consulting, I think you're missing a big opportunity there. And even if it's not your skill set, maybe look at bringing in another partner who can help fill that gap, so you can help your white label partners really scale up, because that's where most people struggle. It's prospecting and sales. You can always outsource the fulfillment to a good white label company, but you can't really outsource the entire sales process. You can hire a sales rep, but if you don't have a working process to give that sales rep, it really doesn't matter. They're not going to be able to make sales. So I think that's why we focus on helping our white label partners in that area.
So obviously, like, people had issues with sales. Most people had issues with sales and prospecting. What was like the main pain points, like specific pain points that people keep bringing up that they get stuck on?
I think it's really the sales process, like not knowing what to say on a call, not knowing how to take them through the sales process. So as I mentioned, we provide that free pitch deck in the group. It's actually a pitch deck we've used to sell over 40 mortgage accounts in our agency. So it's literally the exact same pitch deck. We didn't pull any of the good stuff out. And it literally walks that prospect through the process, because really you need to make people feel comfortable that you're the right person to partner with for their business to run their marketing. So we show them everything. We show them the Facebook ads, we show them the targeting that we use, we show them the funnels, the follow-up system. We're not hiding anything. And I learned this strategy from John Logar. He said, if you teach what you know, then people will want to work with you. So like that's our sales process is we're teaching them a little bit, not enough that they could really go and like take it and run with it on their own, but enough for them to feel like, okay, this person is an expert. They know what they're doing and I should trust them to run this campaign for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So and once you start getting those results and people are happy, they're going to talk about it,
Yep, exactly.
for you. It's like, that's my whole YouTube channel. It's like, I don't hide anything. I just, whatever, I want to talk about it, I talk about it. And it's like, I don't care because the reality is that most people, it's cool that people watching the YouTube channel or listening to this, especially for the Facebook side of things that I put out, which is like the most popular in the channel, is they're trying to learn. A lot of people are trying to learn how to do this, but a lot of people who watch this as well is people looking for solutions to their problems, and they don't have the time or want to deal with it with themselves. So they reach out, and I take care of it. We take care of it. So it's a win-win situation for everybody when you think about it. And that's like one of the biggest things that I see people do. They're afraid to give their information away because somebody's gonna you're gonna give it away for free. Trust me, man. Karma. It comes back big, so there's that. So from here, I know we're running out of time because you got to get on a call, but where are the McConachie brothers going from here? Dude, you guys need a t-shirt with like Irish, logo on it, like a badass logo on it. I'll buy it. It just sounds gangster. McConachie brothers. So where are you guys taking it from here? So what's the next step? What's your plan with the agency and the white label side of things?
Yeah, on the white label side, really, we're just trying to service current clients and get them the best results possible. As you mentioned, once you get somebody a result, they're going to go and refer you. And that's really what we've seen with label agencies that scale up. They get great results for their clients, and then it just naturally snowballs because once you get that reputation as the go-to provider, it's almost impossible to keep up with the amount of demand that there is in the market for white label Facebook ads. So that's really where our focus is on the white label side. On the agency, we're always out there prospecting, landing new clients, just trying to hustle to make it happen because we do get great results for our clients. A lot of them do stick with us for longer than a typical agency. So that's really our focus is how do we get more roofing clients in the door? How do we get them better results so that they stick with us and just continue to scale up? So right now we're moving from just working with smaller local clients to really targeting more of like statewide or even potentially national campaigns. So that's kind of our objective for this year is to really start to bring on some of those bigger clients while also, of course, continuing to get the smaller clients or medium-sized business clients as well.
So is there any niches that you guys specifically focus on for people that are looking to fulfill the services?
Yeah, basically anything in the local home services space. So whether that's, roofing, HVAC, flooring, just anything that is involved in the interior, exterior of the home. That's a big focus area of ours. And then also mortgage and real estate is a really big area for fulfillment as well. But if we can't do it, like let's say it's an e-com campaign, I have people like Christian that I refer campaigns to all the time. I'm not an expert in everything, but I do have an amazing network of people that are experts in these different areas. So if I can't do a campaign, I probably have somebody who can. And if somebody I know can't do the campaign, it's probably not an easy campaign. Get
anybody to find it. Yes, that's awesome. All right, man. So where can people find you and find more about the white label services and even the agency side of things? Because I don't do any of the lead gen stuff anymore. I'm pure e-com. So please go to Kevin for lead gen.
Yeah, the best way to connect
Scott,
with Kevin.
I said Kevin. Yeah, so you guys look exactly the same. Sometimes I forget who I'm talking to. You guys sound the same too.
It's all good. If anyone wants to connect with me or my brother Kevin, they can connect with us on Facebook. That's the best way for sure.
I'll put the links in the description.
Yeah. And we'll just connect you with the group, or we'll jump on a call if you're looking to talk about our services, whatever is a good fit for you.
Awesome. All right, Scott, thank you so much, man. I know it was a short one because you got to get on that call, but I can't say thank you enough for coming on. And then hopefully we'll have you in the next one soon.
Thanks, Christian. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button. It helps with the algo. And then if you're listening on the podcast and you haven't subscribed yet, what's wrong with you? Just do it. All right. I'll see you guys later. Talk to you later.